Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mitch. Hope y'all are having a great start to your weekend. Great start to your Saturday morning. Not going to keep you guys long today. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get a video in this morning because I have to go to my sister's wedding up in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So going to try to get in a little bit of a video this morning and talk about what's going on. I'm pretty much just going to hone in what I was talking about last night, but I'm also going to talk about the cold front that I mentioned last night. Confidence is just steadily increasing that this is going to happen. I really think it'll be the latter part of next weekend. There's a chance that a cold front moves through sometime Sunday of next weekend, whether that's Sunday morning. It all depends on where you're located. Obviously, if you're more west in Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, then it might move in as early as Saturday. But this is, once it picks up speed, it's going to be a quick moving cold front. It's going to move through and it's going to change our pattern completely. How long is this cool weather going to stay through? Well, to me, I think this is definitely going to be a big time switch from, I guess you can call it the Indian summer to straight to fall. So hopefully we can be done with the super humid air like we've been dealt with this past week, and we're probably going to deal with this coming week. But there is hope finally on the horizon for us fall lovers like me that the pattern is going to switch, it's going to cool down, and I'm definitely seeing some days in our future where we have highs in the 60s and 70s and lows in the 40s and 50s, and definitely looking forward to it. I want to mention, guys, this coming Friday, me and my wife are going up to the Blue Ridge Parkway, going to get some footage up there and just enjoy something that I really love, which is fall foliage. I love it. I just love stuff like that. So in nature, so I'm gonna probably put a video out on that. It's gonna be just my journey through that. And if you guys have not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. If y'all got anything that I can pray about, please put it in the prayers or put it in the comments so I can pray for you guys. I've had a couple people ask for some prayers yesterday, so I definitely pray over them. And just thank y'all for the amazing support. Things are kind of slow right now, but that's okay. The weather can be hectic and can be dangerous, and right now it's nothing's too crazy is going on right now. Next week could be a different story for the central U.S. So we'll talk about what is 92L Invest out here off the coast in North Carolina, South Carolina. It is spinning some tropical moisture into the area. We'll back it up here, and we'll continue to do so throughout the day. Rain's going to probably make it as far west as maybe the Piedmonts of North Carolina. Some showers might pivot into central South Carolina, but I think this is going to be mainly contained to areas of eastern North Carolina and maybe as far southwest as Myrtle Beach. And it's just going to be spinning away. This thing will try to strengthen at the last second as we get into tomorrow morning, but I think that the upper level wind patterns and just a little dry air, a good bit of dry air to the actual northwest part of the storm, which will actually help to provide a nice cooler morning for us tomorrow morning in the southeast, will limit any big time potential for development with this system. So I don't think it's a big deal. Just going to be some tropical downpours across areas of Virginia and especially North Carolina with some gusty winds. So just not a great beach day, just a great weekend just to chill inside if you're in this area. And as far as rainfall totals moving forward here, certain areas, and this is the latest HRRR model, certain areas could get as much as 4 to 5 inches of rain depending on where you are in eastern areas of North Carolina. So Elizabeth City, definitely a lot of rain, and areas point south across the entire Outer Banks. Wilmington could get a couple inches of rain, but a sharp cutoff, as you can tell. I think some of these showers will make it into areas of deeper, a little bit more western than North Carolina, but altogether, definitely not a widespread rain event across the southeast. So we'll look at this storm. It still has a 40% chance to develop, so still some time to develop over the next 2 days or 1 to 2 days, but I don't think it's going to take the next named storm name, which is Wanda. I really don't think it is. I think it's going to stay south of that. So looking at our pattern change, as I mentioned, I feel like I want to repeat with this, but I want to make this clear. These are dew points. So dew points in the 60s and 70s is very humid air. Anything lower than that, like dew points below 60 degrees, that's when it starts to get more into the less humid air, more of a dry air mass. When you get below 40 degrees with dew points, it's really, really dry air. And lower than that, you start to get to that desert dry air and or an Arctic air mass, depending on where you are and what's going on. So as we're moving through this weekend, A little bit of dry air will try to wedge in. So definitely a nice weekend across the mountains, a cool kind of cloudy weekend. If there's any good fall, I think the fall foliage up in the mountains, depending on where you are, especially if you're in the mountains of North Carolina and Tennessee, West Virginia. I think in the mid to higher elevations, right around 4,000 to 5,000 to 6,000 feet, are definitely starting to peak. I think next weekend will actually be the best weekend as far as all elevations mixed together as a whole. And I think the next weekend after that, you'll start to see the lower elevations really peaking as far as fall foliage. But it's a slow process right now just due to the fact there hasn't been a lot of cool air. These cool, crisp nights, and especially frost, you get that first frost, it really escalates the fall foliage and gets it colorful. But I think even up in the Northeast, it's actually pretty far behind. I've seen some pictures, and it definitely is a little behind up there for you guys too. But that seems to be the trend over the last several years, as the trend for more humid weather has been growing each year, especially here in the Southeast. So moving forward here, humid week again. I think the chances for rain will be a little bit lower, but a humid and warm week across a lot of the eastern U.S., especially the Southeast and Deep South. But if you look here, there's a movement of air masses that's just flipping back and forth, and it's kind of just moving along. Eventually, this cold front finally breaks containment, if you will, and starts dipping southeast. And this is that wholesale look that you want for a clear East Coast clearing cold front. And it starts to break loose Friday into Saturday, moves into areas of Arkansas, areas of Tennessee, Mississippi as early as Saturday morning. So I think you'll be starting your Saturday morning off with a cold front blasting through. This will be picking up speed, so by the time you get into overnight, basically you get into Saturday evening, this is already starting to clear the mountains. It's starting to clear most of Alabama and getting into northern areas of Georgia. And this is just one run, so the timeline is going to pivot back and forth some. But as we're getting into Saturday night into Sunday morning, a cold front is going to move through basically the entire eastern U.S. besides Florida. The panhandle of Florida, we'll get into this. And by the time some of you wake up next Sunday morning, fall will be back. And we'll be back with a vengeance. It might just downright be crisp, depending on where you are. Some of the lowest dew points, when you look at dew points in the 30s here, it probably is telling me that your overnight lows are probably closer to the upper 40s, depending on where you are. But there's a good chance you might get your first frost, maybe freeze across portions of the mountains of West Virginia, North Carolina, and Tennessee, especially the higher elevations. And this pattern goes through I'll go through the next 10 days, 11 days, and it looks like the dry air sticks around through the following week. So what was looking like maybe we wouldn't have a pattern change until maybe late month, it's starting to look like, even the big time meteorologists are talking about this. It's really starting to look like we're going to have a game-changing cold front moving through. As far as temperatures, how do they respond to that? Well, we get into this coming Monday, very warm. You see 80s getting all the way into Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and very warm week. I think some cooler air will try to sneak into areas of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. Maybe it won't be quite as warm up there. But, sorry, my kid's here. But you look at the Southeast, very warm week. Some areas might clip 90 degrees ahead of this cold front. But you can tell the cooler air starting to leak through. And a very warm Friday, likely a very warm Saturday, depending on how quick this cold front moves. But look at the big tight gradient right here. Very tight gradient. Very warm temperatures and very fall-like temperatures. And these are around high temperatures next Saturday. And but when that cold front moves through, beautiful conditions. And by the time we get into Monday morning, look at this. 40s, 30s, 50s, low temperatures. And fall moves through just in time for late October and Halloween to really get going here. So love to see it. Sign of some things are changing. There's still a week out. Some timelines can tweak a little bit back and forth. And sure enough, we could trend away from this cold front, but most major models are really showing this. And I think the only thing that's going to tweak back and forth is the timeline of when this is going to move through. So that's all I got, guys. Thank you all for the amazing support. As usual, my kids are screaming in the background. I hope you all have a great weekend. God bless all y'all.